Deacon John Wilson here, Education Enrichment Director for West Angeles Church. Now, I'm here before you because of the way news is reported and a scary rumor that's going around. That's totally untrue. And I understand the origin of it, but maybe I'll talk about the origin of it. We just had an election November 5th, and most people I know, I would say, I'm here in California, by the way, most of the people I know are disturbed by the results of the election. There's different emotions. I'm seeing anger, afraid. Some are speaking violently. I see in TikTok and other places. That's not what this video is about, but it provides a backdrop. You know, a lot of people have always hated our president, who's president right now. You know, I've often said I don't want to get political here. I don't agree with everything he says, no question, and does. I don't agree with everything any president does. I didn't dig the last one, whatever things he did, and this one does things I agree with and don't agree with, but it's not politics that I'm here for. But nevertheless, there's a lot of fear, and it's real, and anger at President Trump. And you might wonder where I'm going. But no matter how angry we get, we should never let one person disturb the flow of truth into our lives. Now, the media doesn't help it. The traditional TV media, NBC, CBS, ABC, ESPN to a lesser extent lately, they're trying to really report the news. Fox, you got to be careful, but they really try to report the news kind of. You know, everybody sort of reports the news. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about a thing called narrative. There's some narratives in our community that are affecting our view of what the truth is and are also affecting the media. You know, Trump's a Nazi, Trump's a racist, Trump hates Black people. Trump, what else? I can't keep track. He's going to take away the Department of Education. You know, we'll get to that in a minute. He's going to destroy our kids in K through 12. He's going to attack women and LGBTQ, and he's going to do all those things. And, you know, if I were to think about all those long enough, I'd be afraid too. Although my fear is a little different. Maybe I'll cover that somewhere else, but that creates fear. Everybody's afraid because of the way things are reported in the media and because of real fears they have. You might see things that aren't said exactly the way it is in the media. You hear it from people and you think it's true. Like I've heard now, well, I don't know, I guess 13, 14, 15 times that Trump's a racist or Trump's a racist and he's going to take away financial aid. First of all, one statement doesn't preclude the other, or he's getting rid of the Department of Education. I know I had an earlier video where he can't. He needs approval of Congress to do it. And I don't think he'll have the votes to get rid of it right now. He may have it later once he does some other things. But right now, he doesn't have the votes. I know he's moving fast and stuff, but he doesn't have the votes. But let's suppose he does have the votes. There is no indication at all that federal financial aid will be taken away. Please stop talking about that. Stop telling your students that. Or students, if you're hearing this, stop telling your parents. Colleges, financial aid offices, You have a moral and ethical responsibility to clarify that nothing is happening to federal financial aid. Now, I'm going to prove it in just a minute, but let me say a few more words about this. In our culture, we do have, no, it's American culture. There appears to be a history of these rumors being fact or being talked about and becoming fact. I suppose that happens in a free society. Like hearing the rumors that George Washington threw a silver dollar across the Rappahannock River, which is 1 mile wide, at the point where he would have thrown it. Or he cut down a cherry tree. Or he said, I can never tell a lie. Come on now. Misquoted. People in history misquoted. Things we think they said, they never said it. But that's being exacerbated by this narrative type media that comes to you with a slant. And I remember encouraging you all to get deeper into looking at both sides of the news or regularly get your news. But if you're getting your news from TikTok, Facebook, maybe I'll do a separate video on where to get good news from. It's not directly related to education, but it is enrichment, so maybe I'll cover it. But that's what's happening. There is no one in the federal, listen to me. Look at me if you're driving or something. Just listen closely, unless you're driving. There is no attempt that I know of, and I'm looking at the news all the time, to get rid of federal financial aid. Now, here's the thing that I'm noticing, though. I've had about 14 people say it, and 10 of them aren't getting federal aid anyway. They don't qualify for Pell Grants, and I'm concerned that they'll think the federal government took it away. The other thing that's happening is they're going to schools that are very expensive and don't give a lot of financial aid. So next video, I got to cover that. And so if they don't get enough aid from the school, I'm concerned that schools will lie. I've already have one school that's financial aid person told somebody that, got to file your FOFSA quick because Trump's going to take it away. That is such a lie. Ooh, it'd have to go through Congress. It would never get through Congress. And he'd have to be doing something political that would destroy him and his party forever. I mean, he got 55% of the youth vote. Shock people. Some say 52. Now, what would happen if he did that? What happened in the midterms? All right, so let's deal with that. I'm gonna show you some articles about that, and I'm gonna include them in the link below. I know I did a video earlier in this fact. I'll include that video link below. And you determine for yourself whether you think federal financial aid is going to be removed. Because I've seen some super intelligent people telling me that it's going to be removed. There is nothing saying that. Now, we can talk politically about it, but think about it this way. Some of you think because if the Department of Education is taken away, federal financial aid will go away. Well, what if your bank moved locations, moved, say, a mile away, and it's the only branch you could get to? Do you think that, and they give a new location? That's what people don't understand. Do you think that when they tear down the bank, your account's gone? No, you go to the new bank. Everybody believes that they're going to move functions, essential functions. That's the whole part of this efficiency thing. Move the essential things or run the essential things the way they need to be run. But do we need a $30 billion administrative bureaucracy to run that? And as far as the block grants to states go, I think the state should get it without any strings. That's what I heard from the administration. There should not. They also think FEMA emergency money should go right to the states. The federal government can't do everything. And those of you that are worried about civil rights issues not having the government, having the Department of Education, that's a different issue than this video. Please separate those issues. We can have a separate video about that one day, maybe. But let's stop all this thinking that federal financial aid will be removed. All right, let's take a look at just a couple articles so I can end this video. It's getting kind of long. Here's a pretty good article here. And there are a lot of good ones. If you just Google it, is it going to be removed? But here's a good one here. House is funding. Oh, okay. Let me look up here. Despite the chaos over Trump White House funding pause, just trying to think what they mean by that. Anyway, FAFSA forms and student loans are still available. But when you read the article, it's more than available. A temporary freeze imposed by the White House. This is back on January 29th, but they're unfrozen now. But you get the idea. Read through this. This is where I first started hearing that financial aid was going to be taken away. If they froze all the funding and they still had financial aid, then why would they take it away now? You should read through this. Especially this part down here. We continue to award and disperse financial aid, right? Financial aid applications for 2024, 2025 are due by the 30th, after which the application will be unavailable. But the 25, 26 one we have now, the FAFSA's up. Then there's the thing about how they're affected by the pause. No effect. You should read this article. There's other articles like it, but this is one you should definitely look at. Then there's this article. What happens to student loans if the U.S. Department of Education is eliminated? This is a very good article because it covers other stuff too. Although changes at the U.S. Department of Education, the agency overseeing financial student loans, may occur, like a reduction in workforce, the student loan program itself isn't going away. Similarly, your student debt is like, I hadn't thought of that. Like, if you get rid of the Department of Education, that means all the debt will go away, right? I know that means you should be cheering for it if you're saying he's going to take it away and you have loans already. Then it goes to the history of how it was created, and the most important sentence is the first one here. Well, I'll just read through it anyway. If the federal student aid program was introduced, the federal student aid program was introduced to the Higher Education Act of 65, signed into law by Lyndon Johnson. The landmark legislation created the legal aid and loan programs, federal aid and loan programs, blah, blah. Congress established it. The federal grants and loans are firmly rooted in law. Any changes or elimination of these programs would require an act of Congress. He cannot stop student loans. Okay, I don't know how to say that, but then again, you know, if you think he's a dictator and he's a fascist, that had no effect on you. What I read, but there's some of us that know the Constitution, and we know what the limits of presidential authority in Article 2 are. Let's read this paragraph here. Please listen to this. Please stop thinking and telling people this is happening. A supermajority of, and students are hearing it, they're telling me it, that they're hearing it from home. A supermajority of 60 senators out of 100 will be required to eliminate the Department of Education. 60 senators. I don't care. You think, well, there's 53 Republicans. That's not 60. They will need to get 7 Democrats to pass it. You just need to read this stuff. Come on now. Okay. Now, this paragraph here points out other things they might do, right? To cut costs at the department. Shoot, that might give more money to do things. But it's not going to affect the actual aid itself. While there have been discussions about federal student aid and loan programs, which fall under the Office of Federal Student Aid, right, there have been no indications that there is a plan to dismantle these programs. Instead, the conversation is centered on potential reforms to existing programs, particularly those relating to student loans. Yeah, I think they're terribly administered. The loan programs that's waiting on hold, the not you can't get information. It's terrible. I should do something on that. If the administration were about to eliminate the Department of Education to an aid program be transferred to another agency. See, I was telling you that. We expect that the Treasury, if that were to happen, that whole agency just moved to the Treasury. And there's a nice thing about paying for college and all that. So let's stop telling people that federal financial aid is in jeopardy and that somehow he's going to take it away. And let's go on to praying and being concerned about other things going on. And like I always say, let's not, in terms of education, definitely this is true. Let's stop worrying about what's going on in the White House and worry about what's going on in our houses. God bless you. Thank you very much. Bye bye now.